Welcome into Celtics post-game live. Chris Forsberg, Amina Smith here with you. And a wild ending for the Celtics down in Memphis. They win this one against the Grizzlies 102-100. And the last, 10 seconds of that matchup, Kristaps Porzingis saving the day for the Celtics.
I'm all disheveled. I don't even know what happened there. I blacked out for like 2 minutes. It was just a wild game. I think Joe Mazzulla actually sent a message to the Jays in that third quarter about effort. And then credit to everybody. They played much harder in the fourth quarter. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't perfect. And yet the guys found a way to get it done, highlighted by Porzingis. Isn't it ironic, Amina? The guy you trade Marcus Smart for is the guy who's everywhere at the finish line. Porzingis getting not only the go-ahead bucket there off the feed from Jason Tatum, but just making every big play at the free throw line, the block to save it at the end. I hate to say it, but this is why you go get someone like a Kristaps Porzingis to dominate in these moments. And this is the first time he's had to do it. It's necessarily in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, but man, that finish was crazy. I don't know what Drew Holiday was doing trying to dunk that basketball, but they survived it. A win is a win is a win.
Honestly, I was in here screaming at the TV because I didn't know what was going to happen in that final sequence. But you mentioned Kristaps Porzingis, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 6 blocks in one game. I know we fixate on the offense, but 6 blocks in one game for Kristaps Porzingis, Forsberg, that's a very big deal.
And even you could see late in that game, it felt like the Grizzlies were aware of where he is on the court at all time. It makes you hesitant to go up when you know that there's a 7'3" guy about to swoop over and contest the shot. And so I love what he brings on the defensive end. I think we all said it when he got traded here. You knew what he could do offensively. We've seen the crazy efficiency numbers highlighted during the broadcast, the best in the NBA. But for me, defensively, the presence he's added on that back line has been way more than I expected. And his ability to cover for mistakes, to really anchor you in that position. And again, no one's perfect, and there are teams that will try to take advantage of him in the pick and roll. But a night like this, man, 6 blocks, that's just crazy what he was doing, flying around and making things happen.
And there's a certain edge that Kristaps Porzingis plays with that, honestly, Forsberg, I was not expecting when he got traded here to Boston.
Did you see when he kind of trash talked after the final block?
I saw it.
Like, he's got the 5 techs now. He shows a little flair there. I think what it is, for me, it comes down to, competition, right? And so when he's in his interviews, he's so measured, takes a second to ponder the question and then answers it. But you know inside of him he wants to win, and especially after spending a year with the Washington Wizards, you really want to be back out there and competing for something. And I think him more than anybody, part of the reason he wasn't one of the ones off the bench for the final 7 minutes, 10 seconds of the third quarter was because he was playing his heart out tonight and trying to make something happen, rewarded at the finish line. And good thing he was the one that was in there at that point.
All right, well, speaking of Porzingis, here he is with Abby Chin after this win.
Kristaps, let's start at the end. It was a frantic final play. Take me through it from your perspective.
Yes. Emotional game, and some emotions at the end. Also, these guys played hard. They played hard, and they came to win. And we had to grind this one out. Again, we didn't have our best game. We took them seriously, but those guys can play, and we're just happy to come out with a win.
You said an emotional game. You were battling foul trouble all night. How were you able to keep your composure?
I was working on it. I'm working on it. But I knew that we have to win this game no matter what. And of course, I want to be out there and help my teammates. And I was, controlling my emotions to not get any more fouls or any more techs, and we did it. We did it, and we won the game.
This is a second straight game that came down to the clutch. You guys are now 5-2 in those situations. Why are you so good at that execution?
Good question. I think JT is he's a very stoic guy, and in these situations he's very emotionless, and he leads us. He leads us in these kind of situations. He can get a big bucket. He can make a big play, and he did that towards the end. And we have great players, great leaders on this team, and we're capable of controlling our composure at the end and win these tight games.
KP, these last 2 games also, you've had to grind them out. You guys now have won 6 straight. Is there some momentum you can take to close out this road trip?
Of course. I mean, it's tough. No, we have a road trip, traveling back and forth, and and you know, tough games. These are tough games for us. You know, on the road, everybody wants to beat us, and playing against a gritty team like them, it's tough, especially like towards the end of the road trip. And we got to stay mentally strong, and just, as you said, just grind these wins out.
Kristaps, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Scal and Drew Carter joining us live from Memphis. And the Grizzlies, they came into this matchup with 8 players on the injury report. They played a hard-fought game. However, the final seconds of this matchup, absolutely crazy. Scal, how would you describe those final seconds of this game for the Celtics?
You know, you usually don't see frantic finishes in the NBA. Everything is controlled and measured with timeouts, advancing the ball, execution. But I tell you what, Memphis got a wide open shot. Aldama was a guy who it was in my mind, after watching so many NBA games, I almost expected him to make that shot.
Yeah.
I did not expect that ball to bounce out. I thought, okay, we'll just call timeout, we'll advance it, but just a wild finish. And I don't want to be on the Celtics for taking that shot, because he's going to make a right play. Like Holiday gets a dunk, he finishes at it, the game is over. But it was a wild play for, just the way this whole thing ended.
Well, Scal, the thing about that play is, the most iconic play of Drew Holiday's career probably is the alley-oop to Giannis, right? When he was in Milwaukee, when, technically on paper that might not have been the smart basketball play. He probably wanted to dribble out the clock at that point. But Drew Holiday's just a basketball player. He plays in the flow. He saw an open lane and went for the dagger. Almost had it, didn't work out. And then Taylor Jenkins was saying he tried to call timeout.
Yeah, I think right now he started saying timeout, 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 but that's so fast. It wasn't like the guy dribbled it out or anything like that.
That's the best part.
Porzingis. It's so great.
Was Zaire Williams asking for a foul there? Because that's the cleanest block I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's just, that's how the NBA is. It's 23-24. People complain about everything.
Yeah.
I'm just stunned that Drew still has a voice after that finish. So credit to grinding through there. That Holiday decision, I was texting some friends and I did say, imagine if that had been Marcus Smart, who's obviously super polarizing.
Oh, man.
If he was the one who made that play, we'd be going nuts. But I agree. You're just trying to make a play in that moment. Knowing that JJJ's right there, you probably got to maybe think twice about it. But Scal, what can they take from this? What did you think about Mazzulla not playing the Jays in the final 7 minutes of that third quarter?
I didn't take anything from that at all. I think the Celtics are always searching for ways to have better lineups together and putting those guys together. But the biggest thing I noticed, my takeaway from today's game, is that Memphis was really handsy today. They were real. They were everything they did, from offensively to Desmond Bane using his hands to defensively, hitting a forearm, using your hands. And the weak side, they were using their hands, grabbing guys. I just think, to me, watching the team, I'm curious if other teams don't pick that up. These guys all talk. They know. There's a scout here, probably from the Bucks. I wonder if we're going to start seeing teams be more handsy with the Celtics. And all that means is just teams being overly aggressive on using their hands. And you know what? Every game takes a different life. Today's officials let that go, but called a bunch of ticky-tackies on the other side. So maybe this doesn't hold true anywhere else, but I just thought it was really interesting how handsy Memphis was and how the Celtics seem to struggle offensively because of it.
And Chris, one note on rotations. We did get our first look at Neemias Queta in a regular season game tonight. That was
Is that his new obsession?
No.
That's my new obsession.
Now,
That's
come on,
how
Kristaps
Williams.
My guy
Porzingis. Come on now,
Porzingis.
Scal. We talked about
Come on. Come on, man. We've been through
No,
this.
I didn't know who your new bromance
It might
was.
change week to week. You know me, bandwagon.
So right now is Porzingis?
Honestly, since the first preseason game, it's been Porzingis, and it's been rewarded. I love big off-injured big men.
Yeah,
So,
that's his rebound.
Chris, you can have dinner with one of these guys, Dave Matthews or Kristaps Porzingis. Who are you taking?
I'm still going with Dave, but Kristaps would be welcome to join for from a neighboring table. He could just lean into the conversation with that 7'3" size.
That's a lean in from the table. Thanks so much, guys.
Amina, you're cold with that rebound comment. That was cold-blooded.
I'm just saying, that's what we've been calling it.
That's what we do.
The first time,
I've owned it,
I was
Scal.
a little taken aback the first time, but hey, if Forsberg is okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
Can we get Drew he's got to call another game tomorrow. He's going to need some throat rehab or something.
Yeah, he's getting some tea. A look at that final score down in Memphis, 102-100. Coming up, we take a closer look at that fourth quarter and hear from head coach Joe Mazzulla. Stay with us.